Patrick McNeil joined now on the broadcast as we look ahead to the coming weekend where the Cape Breton Eagles will be taking on the Shawinigan Cataractes Saturday night at Center 200, and joined by somebody who knows the Cataractes very well, covers the team in print in Shawinigan, and color commentator as well, Steve Turcotte. Steve, before we talk about the Cataractes this year, wanted to go back to last year. The Cataractes finally getting that President's Cup, and they go to the Memorial Cup as well. Just how much did it mean to finally win a league championship for this team that waited so long?
Yeah, it means a lot, Patrick. 50 years of history of junior hockey here in Shawinigan. The first President Cup. So it was a big adventure for the Cataractes, especially for Maverick Board, Xavier Bourgault, Pierrick Dubé. Tremendous hockey, and the crowd was loving it.
Yeah, and as you said, waiting a long time, storied franchise, 50 years in the making. A lot of those players, the players you mentioned, have moved on, but one key player that is still there is Jordan Tourigny. Will certainly be drafted into the NHL this year. Just how special has he been playing for Shawinigan, and how impressive is he playing such a key role at 17 years old?
We forget it about him, but he's only 17 years old. He has a huge key to the success of the Cataractes right now. He's playing 5-on-5. Playing penalty killing. He shows some leadership for the young core of Daniel Renaud. I think he will be a primary asset to grab for an NHL team in June.
No doubt about that. We know the goaltending in Shawinigan very well. Remy De La Fontaine playing to start the year, and recently Gio Di Mattia comes to Shawinigan. Have you had the chance to watch Gio play for the Cataractes yet? And just tell us about what's going on with Colombe that led to the Cataractes getting a new goaltender.
Yeah, Colombe is still hurting. We will know about him in about 6 weeks, if he can or not come back this year. So it's why Martin Mondou give a shot to Joe to come here as a third goaltender for now, but he will see some action. For now, he didn't play, but Remy De La Fontaine doing very, very well since the injury of Colombe. He is clearly the number one guy here in Shawinigan.
Do you think Remy responded positively knowing that he was going to be getting most of the starts after Antoine Colombe was hurt?
Yeah, he was good at the beginning of the season too, but their level in past weeks, a couple of great performances. Remy is only 18 years old. I think he will be dominant next year.
I know people enjoyed watching him play here, so we hope for that. You've been covering the Shawinigan Cataractes for a long time. Is this the youngest team you've seen them put on the ice? Right now, very little in terms of experience.
No, Patrick, because in the past, after a big run, Martin Mondou always used this recipe. And sometimes they're most 16 years old in the lineup. Now it's a young team, but you have a good group of veterans who helps the young players you mentioned. Tourigny, I can talk about Isaac Menard. I can talk about Angus Booth, the new captain. Up front, you have guys like Jacob Lafontaine, too, who can use some leadership to help the young core.
It's going to be interesting to watch this team grow. The Cataractes did part ways with William Veillette. He was a coveted player, but they do keep Loris Rafametzanoa, a player they added last year to help their playoff run. Do you think many teams were inquiring about him? How important to see this Cataractes team down the stretch?
Yeah, some teams inquiring about him, but they didn't pay the price. Fair in the eyes of Martin Mondou, so you want to keep him to help the young core. Same thing goes for Lorenzo Cananica. He's a very good player, but because he is European, the market is not easy for a guy like him at 19 years old. A guy like Cananica and Rafael Mezansoa are now leading the room right now with Angus Booth.
There are so many good Europeans and 20-year-olds around the league this year. Big moment for Daniel Renaud winning the President's Cup last year in Val-d'or. His team was upset, and he'd been in Shawinigan before. Just how do you think he has grown as a coach in his time in Shawinigan?
I think he did well in Val-d'or too. When you play in the final against another good team, I think it's a good thing. But in Shawinigan, he proved that he can win the last game. And he proved that in a team with Maverick Book as a captain, as a big leader. He has help from Pascal Dupuis behind the bench, a former Pittsburgh Penguin. He proved that he can win the big games. So I'm sure for him personally, it's a big win.
The last thing we'll ask you, Steve, this Cataractes team comes to Center 200 on Saturday. For fans, what should they be looking forward to? What is exciting about this Cataractes team as they come into Sydney?
I think it's the way that the defensemen jump into play. We spoke about the Tourigny, Menard, Rafael Mezansoa, and Booth. It's 4 defensemen who love to go on the attack side. They take some chances too. They are good in the power play. So they are the stars in Shawinigan right now.
We look forward to seeing them come to town on the weekend. Thanks for telling us all about the Cataractes, Steve. Look forward to seeing you in the winter as well. Have fun covering the team the rest of the year.
Thank you, Patrick.
That is Steve Turcotte, color analyst, and it covers the Cataractes in print as well in Shawinigan. Good rundown on what to expect of Shawinigan coming up this weekend. You're listening to the intermission of Cape Breton Credit Union, Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.